If you're anything like me, you've been a pretty avid gamer on Xbox for most of the time you've been playing games, and it's no secret that Xbox has had more than its fair share of rough patches over the years. From butchering the launch of the Xbox One to ending exclusivity and raising Game Pass prices, Xbox is widely known in the industry for making stupid decisions. Recently, we've seen a bit of a regime change at Xbox, with many of the old guard leaving and being replaced by some new faces over at Microsoft. The most consequential being, in my opinion, the replacement of Phil Spencer as CEO with Asha Sharma. Now, immediately when Asha came aboard, everyone was super skeptical, myself included, and I really still am, if I'm being honest. This is someone coming from AI integration over at Microsoft into the Xbox gaming space, and naturally everyone's red flags went off immediately. Personally, I wouldn't put your pitchforks and torches away just yet. I think there is still room for them to massively mess things up here, but I do want to give credit where credit is due. It's been about 2 months since Asha stepped into the role of CEO over at Xbox, and when she started, she did commit to 3 things: human-crafted games, the return of Xbox, and pioneering the future of play. Which, if I'm being honest, those are all very broad and vague PR statements that could mean a multitude of things. So we're all kind of waiting to see where that takes Xbox, especially over like the next year or two with the new console launch, presumably on the horizon. But I do want to take a look at some of the internal memos Asha has been sharing, and just some very minor initial moves that do seem to hint things going in a positive direction. One of Asha's first moves was to announce Project Helix, which is going to be the long-rumored hybrid PC/console from Xbox. This one is going to be the biggest indicator, in my opinion, of the brand's future. They need to nail a console that performs well and sells at a good price point if they want to maintain their presence in this industry and keep everybody from switching to PC, PlayStation, or Nintendo. But I think the fact that she came out right away and told us what their plans for next gen are is a very good indicator that that is still an important pillar for her of Xbox, is that physical console. There's been a lot of discussion about whether Xbox is or isn't going to pursue the next gen, and I think it's safe to say that we are at least getting one more console from them. Granted, it is going to be a bit of a hybrid beast, but in my opinion, it's better than nothing, and it remains to be seen whether the execution of that is actually something good or bad. Another thing I really like that Asha has done is she immediately axed the "This is an Xbox" marketing campaign. Probably one of the biggest fuck-ups in the history of Xbox, on par with the forced inclusion of the Kinect spy cam. This led to lots of memes of people putting "This is an Xbox" on just about anything, and rightfully so in my opinion. This was Xbox's attempt to kind of change the playing field of what a game console is, and it did not go the way they planned. And so shortly after Asha took over, they did quietly sunset that marketing campaign pretty immediately, and when outlets reached out, they said that the campaign was ended because it did not feel like Xbox. So already you can see just some minor decisions that are moving us towards goals that we've wanted for a long time. You know, respecting your community that has brought you this far, focusing on the console experience, and things like that. They've also announced some upcoming changes to Xbox insiders regarding achievement overhauls and hinting at the long-awaited completion achievements. You know, PlayStation has their platinum trophies, and people on Xbox have long been clamoring for an Xbox equivalent, as well as some other welcome changes like hiding games with low achievements from your list and highlighting ones that you want to show off. These are just easy wins that Xbox fans have been begging for over a decade at this point on some of them, and it's just nice to see that they are finally taking action. It does make you wonder what was going on in the Phil Spencer era that they couldn't do some of these things. Another message from Asha that leaked from internal memos is Asha's acknowledgement that Game Pass is just too expensive at its current price point. Game Pass has kind of been this make or break thing for Xbox ever since it was introduced in the Phil Spencer era. I think it started off really great with the day one releases and the low price point. It was pretty much the best deal in gaming for several years. But as we know with these subscription services, they kind of do that as a gateway drug thing. They want you in and then addicted to what you're getting, and then they slowly jack up the price. And that's kind of just the business model of every subscription today, unfortunately. I think Game Pass specifically has gotten to the point where the value proposition is barely there anymore. You know, one of the biggest selling points of Game Pass was that you get Xbox Studios games day and date, and now every one of those games has paid early access, so you're not really getting day one access with Game Pass anymore. unless you pay an extra $20 to $40. And even then, that's just giving you the deluxe upgrade that gives you the early access. It's not giving you the full game. So if I'm having to buy the games day and date anyway, then why am I still subscribed to Game Pass? And I think that's why a lot of people canceled their subscriptions. On top of the price increase last year, it was just like, well, the original reason I subscribed to this service was because of these things, and these things are no longer there, plus I'm paying more. You're taking things away and charging me more for them, which almost never goes over well with consumers. They haven't come out with direct solutions to the cost of Game Pass yet, but some rumored options are an ad-supported tier, or possibly removing Call of Duty from the service, as well as some other day one releases. And I'm gonna be honest, if that would drop the price of Game Pass to like $15 a month, I would be totally fine with them taking Call of Duty out. I mean, I don't play Call of Duty anymore anyway, and I think the last few Call of Duty games have been absolutely terrible. So I don't really like having to pay for it in my Game Pass subscription just to get the games that I actually want. The ad-supported tier, I am not as big a fan of. I think there are already too many ads in our life as it is. The last place I want to see ads is when I'm playing games, and that also goes for just about every other subscription service. I just always skip the ad tier if I'm subscribing to anything, because why would I want to pay for something and still watch ads? That's just stupid to me. I know some people like the affordability of it. I have just never been a fan of ad tiers myself. So like I said, these are all a bunch of small wins. There was also the Xbox Game Showcase announcement with the developer direct being on Gears E-Day, which I am really thankful that it was not Call of Duty again, and the return of Xbox Fan Fest being announced. So I do think Xbox is making a lot of good moves here, and over the next few months or year or so, we're going to see a lot of the decisions that are going to shape Asha Sharma's tenure. You know, with Phil, it was the Game Pass era, and I think that is slowly coming to an end. And like Asha, Phil did make lots of great decisions at the start. He took a lot of those easy W's and kind of ran with them until things started to fall off. So I think Asha definitely has the potential to do that as well. But I do want to highlight these wins because I think they show that Xbox is at least starting to move somewhat in the right direction. Now, definitely don't be too optimistic. This is a company that steps on a rake every chance they can get. But I'm hoping that with this being the 25th anniversary celebration of Xbox, that we continue to see more of these wins, more giving back to the fans, and just a renewed hype for the brand of Xbox. Maybe I'm just being an optimist, but I do hope that this spells good things for the future. Those are just my thoughts on the current state of Xbox and where I think things are headed, though. Now I want to hear from you. Are you someone who, like me, was a longtime fan of Xbox and have been pretty disappointed by their recent decisions? And what do you think of Asha Sharma so far? Do you think she's making the right moves, or do you think this is all just kind of setting us up for more disappointment down the line? I'd love to hear you sound off in the comments below, and be sure to let me know what you thought of the video. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content. I try to cover lots of gaming industry news, so if there's anything you want to see, always let me know. And with all of that said, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.